Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss a new chapter of social science, that is chapter number 15, that is economic development. Right? We have discussed previously chapter number 21, that is social change, and we have seen many points in terms of social change. What are the things that are required to bring a social change in the society, in the states, and in the country? Right? Now we are moving towards a new chapter, we are moving towards a new concept, that is all about economic development. What is economic development? How it is being done, right? And what is the actual economy of our country? What we called development, that is what we are going to look in this chapter. What are the factors? What are the difference between progress and development? There might be, a small confusion that progress and development is one, but there are slight changes, or we can say there are slight differences between progress and development. Right? We are going to learn all these things in this chapter, that is chapter number 15, that is economic development. There are many topics in this chapter, right? Today we are only going to discuss two topics related to economic development. First of all, we'll try to understand what is economic development, and second topic would be the difference between economic progress and economic development. Right? Before we begin, what do you mean by development? Development means increasing the way you live, the way, or you can say the standard of living. Right? Think about yourself. The basic needs that you required before 5 years back, and the needs that you require now after 5 years, and the need that you will be requiring again after 5 years. Obviously it is going to increase, it is never going to decrease. Right? So as needs increases, the standard of living also increases, and that is what we called as development, because that becomes the basic necessities of our own life as per our standard of living. Standard of living is again a new concept. Everyone has different standard of living. For example, if A is earning 50,000 rupees, his standard of living would be around 50,000. If B is earning 1 lakh rupees per month, his standard of living would be around 1 lakh rupees. If C is earning 1,50,000 per month, his standard of living would be as per 1,50,000. Right? And if a person who is earning 5,000 a month, his standard of living would be as per rupees 5,000. And he tries to develop step by step in a steady manner. And when he tries to develop his standard of livings through his savings, through his increase in income from other sources, from other savings or fixed deposits or buying gold, and when he tries to increase his standard of living, that is known as development. That is known as development. Right? Think of yourself when you are in 4th, 5th standard. What were your basic necessities when you come to school? Few textbooks, few books, pencils, rubbers, all these things. And now you see your requirement. Now you are in 10th standard. You require each and everything. Right? Whether it is a journal, whether it is a textbook, whether it is a long book, whether it is pen, or whether it is any material that you require. Can you find the difference between these two? Yes. Now as you are in 10th standard, the needs have been increasing. And when the needs increases, the standard of living also increases. And when the standard of living increases steadily, step by step, that is known as development. That is known as development. Then what is an economic development? What is an economic development? See, the definition has been given in the textbook, right? Before we go to this definition, there is one paragraph that has been given in the textbook. Take out page number 120 from your textbook. First paragraph. Every person's morning begin in different ways. Many people lead their life full of materialistic pleasures. Many people lead their life, that means they live their life for materialistic pleasures. Now what is a materialistic pleasure? A kind of a pleasure that is coming out of money, or you can say money itself. And that is somewhat very correct in today's world. People are mad behind money, right? Whatever amount of money they have, they are not satisfied. They still want more money to be earned. All these things are materialistic pleasures. What is a materialistic pleasures? A kind of a joy and an enjoyment which is temporary. I'll give you one simple example so you'll understand. As we are living in the terms of technology, right? So if you buy an iPhone 11 that is costing around 1 lakh rupees or 1,20,000 rupees, and when you buy that phone, you will be extremely happy for the first week. You will be happy for the first month. You will be okay for 3 months, and then it would be coming to a normal situation. iPhone 11, there is nothing. I have been using that phone since last 6 months, so there is nothing new for you. And then what will happen? After 6 months, there would be a new phone coming in the market, and then you will be attracted towards that thing. That is known as a materialistic pleasure. That is known as a materialistic pleasures. Our needs are unlimited, and we always go for a higher standard of living. And when we try to go for that higher standard of living, we are actually developing ourselves. We are working hard, we are savings, we are making different investment, and when we get good returns from that things, we improve our standard of living. In today's world, this is the criteria. That is known as materialistic pleasures, right? Temporary enjoyments. But maximum people of the world are still struggling for existence. On the other side, there are people who does not get a meal for a day. We have seen in chapter number 21, right? Two kinds of people are there, rich and poor. Both have different standard of living. As I gave you the example, a person who is earning 1,50,000 per month and a person who is earning 5,000 per month. Can you compare these two persons? You cannot compare it, because the standard of these two people are totally opposites, right? A guy who is earning 5,000 rupees, he would be using that 5,000 rupees for his survival, and a guy or a man who is using 1,50,000 rupees, he would be always looking for a materialistic pleasures. Two kinds of people, right? For this, people who are called poor, see, that is what it is given in the textbook. Physical pleasures, well-being or resisting is an imagination only. They can only think, or they can only dream of the materialistic things. They can never achieve it. India is a country where these two kind of people are found at one place, that is in our country. And that does not allow the economic development. That does not allow the economic development of a nation. Governments are giving many programs, many schemes, many benefits to the poor people, but still, as the population constantly increases, the economic development is not possible properly. India is a developing country. There is a difference between developing and developed country. What is a developed country? Where each and every facility is available to both the people. But India, it is a very critical situation. Poor people are more in number rather than rich people, and the number of poor people is constantly increasing. As I said in chapter number 21, poor people consider their children as an asset. So the population constantly increasing, and the rich people are very few in numbers. So the amount of tax that the rich people pay, and that gets into the hands of government, what does the government do? Try to develop, try to keep a balance between both, that is the rich and the poor. But the tax that has been coming from the rich people, and when they look at the poor people, the ratio or the population of poor people is constantly increasing day by day. So it even becomes difficult for the government to balance these both things. And still, to manage all these things, governments are planning various schemes, various programs to uplift the weaker section of the society. So India would be someday be called a developed country, right? But right now we are called as a developing country. So those people who are average or poor, it is an imagination for them to live a higher standard of living, right? Look what is given next in the paragraph. For these people who are called poor, physical pleasures, well-being or resting is an imagination only. How has the situation originated? How this situation originated? How to come out of this situation? Such types of questions have their answers. It is the government who has to balance this activity. And how will they balance? Through economic development. Now what is economic development? Look into the textbook. In today's modern world, every country is trying to achieve development. But development is not confined to economic development only. It is a process of social change. It is a process of social change having many phases. We have seen there were different phases or different phases that we have seen in social change. Different concept. First was awareness, second why it is necessary, all about the laws, all about the provisions, protecting elderly people, protecting child, to stop corruption, anti-social activities. These are different phases of social change. And when we bring all that phases together, we actually make a development. We actually make a development. But what happens in the reality when we try to get all these things together? If we bring one thing, the other thing goes out of the hand. Population increases, for example. So again there is a question mark. If we try to bring the other factor, the other side slips away. That is the situation, or that is the criteria that the government is facing today. Right? Now what is the actual development, or we can say what is the actual definition of economic development? Economic development means a constant increase in national income of a country. A constant increase in national income of a country. When will the national income increase? When people will pay the tax properly, at proper time, at proper quarterly months. And when people will start to pay the tax in proper time, automatically the national income would increase. The national income would increase, right? And that national income would lead to the development economically, right? Second, economic development means constant increase in national income of a country. Second point, increase in per capita income of a country. Increase in per capita income of a country, right? Per capita income is also an important factor for the economic development. Everyone wants to develop. We cannot say that a person who is earning 1,50,000 will remain on that place. After 1 2 years he would be needing an increment in his position and in terms of salary. The same way, a person who is earning 5,000 after 1 year or 2 years, again he would be increasing, or he would be requiring a kind of increase in terms of salary, maybe 10,000, 20,000, or 25,000. Right? That is what brings the actual economic development. If we constantly keep the amount same, we can never develop. We can never develop. One basic fundamental rule of economic development is money should be rotating fast in the market. We can currently see today what is the situation. Everyone has been locked inside their houses. On one hand, we have a saving of certain amount of rupees because of the lockdown, but we are not able to spend money in the market. And when we are not able to spend the money in the market, the rotation of money becomes slow. And when the rotation of money becomes slow, we become weak and weak day by day. The situation is getting more critical day by day. And then what happens? The money that you have, the savings that you have, will be worthless. Why it would be worthless? Because the prices of the product would increase because of starvation, because of the basic necessities that you want. So what will be happening in the market? Will be charging at a higher price. Will be charging at a higher price. So if a product is costing 100 rupees per kg, that would be available in the market at 300, 400 or 500 rupees. So what happens in the end? The savings that you have will be gone by the other way. This is the problem that our country is facing today. Right? We need to bring all these factors together so that we can create an actual economic development. If we want to develop, if we want to increase, if we want our higher standards of living, the basic fundamental rule is money should be kept revolving. The more money flowing in the market, the more chances of development. More chances of a development. Right? Then only it is practically possible for the economic development. Right? I'll give you one example so you'll understand in a more better way. There is one company A, who produces a product. The price of the product is, example, 100 rupees. Right? That has been sold in the market. People are buying the products. And when they pay 100 rupees, profit has been included. Profit of the wholesaler, profit of the retailer, and profit of the distribution. And when all these profits are being given, the amount reaches to the company with profit. The amount reaches to the company with profit. And that profit, the company shares it in the terms of salary, or in the terms of bonus, or in the terms of profit towards their employees, towards their shareholders, and towards their directors. Just see, one product costing 100 rupees makes this much amount of rotation. On one side, the customer is satisfied, they pay the price, and that price goes again, that money goes again to the company, and that company divides in terms, gives salary to their employees, distribute profits to their shareholders, keeps certain amount of money with themselves as reserves and surplus, and makes new product again. Again that 100 rupees product goes into the market. Again the customers buys the product. Again the company gets the profit. Again the profit goes into the company. Again that company gives salary to their employees, and this is how rotation has been made. Recently all these things have been stopped. Now to begin this cycle again, it is very difficult. Right? Beginning is always difficult. This is what we have to maintain if we really want an economic development. or else this factor would be constantly missing. No individual would be able to develop himself or herself. The standard of living would always remain low. So if we want the real economic development, we even need to increase the per capita income, right? And point number 3, that is third point of this economic development, change in lifestyle of people or the standard of living. Changing in the lifestyle, status, standard of living, right? And when we change our own lifestyle, our status and standard of living, basic things, the basic necessity things also changes as we grow up and up, right? As we get more amount of money, we try to spend more amount of money. The first point of that chapter, that is materialistic pleasures, we want each and everything with proper technology, with proper system that would increase the standard of living. We want good telephones, we want good internet, we want all the good facilities, we want good bungalows, we want good electronic cars, right? This is what the standard of living means. And when you have the income, a specific income, that defines your standard of living, that defines your standard of living. And that is also very much needed, kept to be steady. If you want to maintain your standard of living, you need to earn that much amount of money every month or every year. Just imagine the situation right now. Look at the example that I have said. A guy who is earning 1,50,000, and because of this situation right now, his source of income is zero. Can you imagine the situation? Can you imagine the standard of living? How difficult it would be for him to survive and for his family to survive? They cannot make their standard low, right, to 5,000, 10,000 or 25,000. It is very difficult for them, but they don't have any options. This is the current situation of our country right now. So if we really want economic development, the standard, the income that you have, and plus the national income that goes into the hands of government should constantly increase, should constantly flow. If you want pure water, the river should always be flowing, right? That is the basic rule. And when all these things takes place at one point of time, that is known as economic development. That is known as economic development. In simple terms, economic development means a materialistic thing, that is money, should be kept revolving in the market. That leads to the development of nation, that leads to the development of individual, and that leads to the increase in standard of living. That is known as economic development. I hope the concept of economic development is clear. Look into the textbook again. This is called economic development. Total income of the country is called national income. By dividing the total income of the country with total population of the country, we obtain per capita income. The total income of the country divided by the total population of the country, then we get the per capita income. But what happens? The population constantly increases, so the value of money is constantly decreasing. While living standard includes the facilities like obtaining food, clothes, education, health services, transportation services, as well as shelter, because of increase in national income and per capita income in India after independence, there has been improvement in services and facilities such as availability of food grains, clothes, electricity, education, health services, shelter, etc. The above mentioned requirements are fulfilled easily in better way compared to the past. after independence there is a great improvement in the per capita income as well as in the population of the country. On one side, the total income of the country, that is also increasing, and on the other side the population is also increasing. That is why India is a developing country. The above mentioned requirements are fulfilled easily in a better way compared to the past. So we may say that economic development is taking place in India. Look at the chart that has been given in blue line. Read by yourself and try to understand. I hope the concept of economic development and the definition of economic development is clear, right? Moving towards the last topic for today, that is difference between economic progress and economic development. Now, before we go towards this topic, do you understand what is a progress and what is a development? Progress means in constant flow, and development means in specific level. If you are here, that is, if your income is 10,000, and now if your income is 50,000, that is development. That is development. Today your income is 50,000. It doesn't matter what was your income in past. It might be 10,000, 15,000 or 20,000. Today your income is 50,000 rupees. So today if your income is 50,000 rupees, that is your development. That is your development. But the phases that you have gone through, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 and 50,000, that 5 different phases that you have been went through, that is progress. That is progress. Progress is always constant, that keeps on moving ahead and ahead, and when you reach your destination, that becomes your development. If I want to earn 1 lakh rupees per month, right, after 5 years or after 2 years or after 3 years, the amount of hard work that I do, that is my progress. And when I reach to my goal, that is 1 lakh rupees per month, that is my development. That is my development. I hope the concept is clear with this example. Now let us look into the textbook what has been given. In ordinary sense, such economic progress as well as economic development, both the word shows an increase. Both the word shows an increase, right? But there is a lot of difference between this both. There are 3 points given. 3 difference between progress and development. Look into the textbook. Point number 1. On the basis of development of process. What does it say? Economic development is qualitative, while economic progress is quantitative. Qualitative, quantitative. Qualitative, that is always very specific, and quantitative, that is always related to specific huge numbers, that is quantitative. Economic development is at the first stage, while economic progress is the stage after economic development. Progress is always at the first stage. That means when you are here and when you are developing, that becomes your progress, and that progress leads to the development, that is rupees 1 lakh. That is rupees 1 lakh. I hope this point is clear. That is on the basis of development process. Point number 2. According to the changes taking place in economy. What is economy? These 3 points are economy. These 3 points are economy. Still, we'll look into the textbook. On the basis of new researches in economy, increase in production is economic development. When the company, I have given one example of company A, right, who is manufacturing a product of 100 rupees, right? When there is an increase in the production of a company, right, it is known as economic development. It is known as economic development. Because of research in hybrid seeds in agriculture sector, there has been manifold increase in agriculture production. This shows economic development. Increase in amount of food grains, increase in amount of goods available in the market. When all these things are increasing constantly, that leads to economic development. That leads to economic development. On the other side, where there is an increase in agriculture production, because of increase in agriculture rent, it is called economic progress. Make an underline, that is economic development and economic progress. I am repeating that definition again. Increase in agriculture production. When there is an increase in production, that is development. But because of increase in production, when there is increase in agriculture land also, In agriculture, land also, that is known as economic progress. That is known as economic progress. That is how both are, sides of a two coin, progress and development. Both are, 50% without each other. When production increases, you require more area, right? As simple as that. The need of particular food grain is constantly increasing in the market. For example, let us say this whiteboard is a piece of land where I am producing wheat. The demand is constantly increasing. First, I was making a production till here. Then, as the demand increased, I started to develop till here. Again, the demand increased, I started to make my production till here. Again, my demand increased, I made it till the end. I have maximum utilized the piece of land that I have in making the production of wheat. Still, there is a demand. Now, I do not have enough space. I do not have enough space. So, what I'll do, I'll buy the extra space that is available on the other side. That is economic progress. That is economic progress, because the demand is constantly increasing. When the demand is increasing, this steps by step, that is development. And when I buy a new piece of land, that is economic progress. That is economic progress. I hope the concept is clear now. Development and progress. And the last point for today, that is point number 3. In relation to developed and developing nations, difference is seen in both of them in relation to developed and developing nations. Increase in national income of developed countries is called economic progress. Underline that statement. Increase in national income of developed countries is called economic progress. Increase in national income of developed countries, not developing, developed countries, is called economic progress, while increase in national income of developing countries is called economic development. Is called economic development. We are developing nation, so we are making an economic development. And the countries who are already developed, they are making progress. What is progress? Again, simple way to remember, when you buy another piece of land for production activity, that is economic progress. That is all about developed countries. And what is economic development? When you increase your level from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here. That is all about developing countries. We cannot think right now as Indian citizens of buying another piece of land. We are moving from here to here, from here to here. We are making an economic development. We are making an economic development. I hope the concept of progress and development is clear with these 3 points. Right? I'm repeating these 3 points again. First, on the basis of development process. Second, according to the changes that are taking place in economy. And third, that is in relation to developed and developing nations. This is known as economic development. Right? Requesting students to read the chapter again, second time, third time, fourth time. So make your concept strong. Try to understand what has been given in the textbook. Try to understand what you see in the video. Wherever you are not able to understand anything, make a pause, right? Revise the section again. Try to understand with example. I have been giving the examples also, so you can understand in a more better way, right? I hope today's concept is clear. Please make a note of these things. Thank you.